Very good morning to you. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. We're going to take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. In the meantime, meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, what's it looking like?
It's looking really clear today. We had 70s across northern New Jersey yesterday, and I think we'll do it again this afternoon. Most of the Northeast staying nice and warm and clear throughout this morning, so a pretty sunrise on the way. And with the clear sky lasting through the next several afternoons, we'll enjoy that big warm up even today, above average warmth with those highs on the order of 25 to 35 degrees above average. A big warm up yet again for all of the East, even some records likely just down to our south. So this is the case with this warm weather across most of the East Coast, even out west. In the Southwest, that above average temperature remains with those Santa Ana winds down south, but there's actually feet of snow there in the Cascades in the Pacific Northwest as the next weather system moves in, meeting some colder air. So the futurecast brings us back to the clouds by tomorrow. You can see some rain moving in with some storms in the Midwest. All of this moves east, giving us our wet weather returns by tomorrow evening. And then the cold front does its job. It chills us out big time going into Friday and Saturday, so cooler weather returns by this weekend, making it feel rather chilly across most of the country as some snow stretches across the Midwest. So that's the next weather system that we'll be keeping an eye on. We'll give you more details coming up, and we'll even take another check of what's going on out west, especially with this system that's moving into Texas with a large round of storms that allows for some severe weather across the Midwest. More on that, Ken, coming up in our next weather update.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Appreciate you, sir. And let's take a look at traffic, shall we? Right now, we do have a few issues to tell you about. In fact, we have a little bit of a delay going across the GWB already, but we're going to hit that in a second. We have an overturned tractor trailer I-78 westbound at exit 29, which is 287, and that's in Bedminster Township. All lanes are closed there. There's a crash and an overturned tractor trailer. This is a mess on the Turnpike westbound entrance ramps from Industrial Way to Interchange 12 in Carteret. All lanes and the right shoulder are closed. We also have a fog and speed advisory on the Garden State Parkway in both directions from southern terminus, which is Cape May, all the way down, right down the shore at the bottom of New Jersey. And that goes all the way up to exit 58, which is Eagleswood Township, 35 miles an hour, all due to the current roadway conditions, which again, they are saying is fog. So you want to just be careful for that, because that's going to be an absolute mess. And you want to avoid that if you can, or as they said, go real slowly, 35 miles an hour. That's definitely the route to take and the way to go. Let's take a look at the Hudson River crossing, shall we? Right now, the Lincoln and Holland Tunnel are both reporting about 20 to 25 minutes in. GWB, upper and lower levels. Again, we have a tiny bit of fog in that area, not really much, a little damp. You can see some cars with their headlights. That's not a huge deal, though. And what we're looking at basically is like a 35 to 40 minute crossover time in terms of getting into Manhattan. But what they're asking for, of course, because we have a gridlock, not a gridlock alert per se, but these are heavy travel times in New York this time of year. They're asking people, if they can, take mass transit whenever possible. But 35 to 40 is what it's going to cost you to get in to Manhattan by the GWB. In Los Angeles right now, we are looking, and that's where we're trying to stall to try to pick up the Los Angeles traffic right now, and we have nothing to report. That's a good thing. We also want to remind you that the NJ Transit users coming next week, you're going to be back to a regular schedule. So make sure you download the NJ Transit map, and that will help you get on track. We wanted to update a story. This is a breaking story that we just got overnight. JetBlue, if you're flying JetBlue anywhere in the country today, that you might want to contact them, because they had a ground stop that went into effect last night. It was nationwide. So this was a problem impacting literally 1,000 or more flights coast to coast. And it was just because they say of a computer glitch. But before you head out the door to take a JetBlue flight today, you might want to check with the carrier to make sure that everything is up and running on time. And that, coupled with the TSA issue, many people, TSA agents calling out sick because they're not getting paychecks. Technically illegal to do that, but that is to call out sick because they're federal employees. But nonetheless, it's causing big delays. Some airports are talking delays of a couple of hours. Make sure you leave early to get to the airport. In other news now, President Trump held a news conference yesterday saying the biggest part of the attack on Iran is completed. He said that we could leave now and they would take decades to get back to where they were, or just complete the job, ensuring a friendly leadership takes charge. President Trump decided on the latter and still feels that can be accomplished relatively quickly.
We're ahead of our initial timeline by a lot. I would say that we probably would not have thought after a month we'd be here. In addition to the fact that we've taken out the leadership twice and maybe three times. And we, as you know, we want to be involved. We don't want another president that maybe wouldn't be willing to do what I'm willing to do for the good of the world, for the good of our nation, to be stuck with a situation in 5 years or 10 years from now. So we think they should put a president in, or the head of the country in, that's going to be able to do something peacefully for a change. They've been doing this for 47 years, killing people for 47 years, whether it's the barracks or even the SS Cole where they were involved. Very strongly, they always denied it.
Meanwhile, U.S. intelligence intercepted encrypted communications believed to be from Iran that may be intended to activate so-called sleeper cells operating outside the country. That, according to a federal alert sent to law enforcement agencies. The message appeared shortly after Ali Khamenei, Iran's longtime supreme leader, was killed in a U.S.-Israeli strike on February 28th, raising concerns about possible retaliation. Officials say the coded transmission may have been broadcast throughout several countries to reach covert operatives, though authorities say there's no confirmed threat tied to a specific location. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has identified the 7th U.S. service member who was killed in combat during the Iran war as 26-year-old Army Staff Sergeant Benjamin N. Pennington of Glendale, Kentucky. Live Nation has reached a settlement with the Justice Department in an antitrust case about its dominance in the live events industry. The case followed backlash over high ticket prices and problems during Taylor Swift's 2022 Eras Tour ticket sales. The agreement could require Live Nation to pay $280 million into a settlement fund and make changes to its business practices, including selling at least 13 of its amphitheaters around the country. They'd have to cap service fees at their theaters at 15%, and long-term exclusivity deals with venues could be restricted to 4 years. Ticketmaster may also have to open parts of its ticketing technology to competing platforms like SeatGeek and Eventbrite. While the DOJ agreed to the deal, a coalition of state attorneys general so far does not accept it. They want more done. AI company Anthropic has filed lawsuits against the Trump administration over a Pentagon decision labeling it a supply chain risk. The designation effectively blacklists the company from certain government technology contracts. The dispute began after Anthropic refused to allow its AI model, Claude, to be used for autonomous weapons or mass surveillance in the United States. The company claims the government's action violates its First Amendment rights and unfairly harms its business, so Anthropic wants to sell its product to the government for $1 billion, but then wants to retain the right to mandate how it could be used. The lawsuits ask a federal judge to block the Pentagon from enforcing the designation. We started talking about this a little bit at the top of the newscast. Major U.S. airports experiencing long security lines during spring break travel. The delays are linked to a partial government shutdown affecting the Department of Homeland Security's funding. TSA workers have been working without pay since mid-February, leading to staffing shortages. Some airports reported wait times of 2 to 4 hours, causing passengers to miss their flights. Airlines are urging Congress to reach a funding deal to end the shutdown. So far, Democrats are refusing to vote to fund the Department of Homeland Security, the agency that controls the TSA, until there are immigration enforcement reforms in place. Except the TSA does not have anything to do with immigration. So the questions are, whom are they really punishing and why? 40-year-old Jason Hughes, a Georgia high school teacher, died after a prank involving toilet paper went wrong. Students just kidding around were TPing his house when he came outside to surprise them, basically to play around. Hughes slipped and fell in the street as students were rushing to drive away. One 18-year-old student accidentally ran over their teacher. That student was charged with vehicular homicide. The teacher's family says that he loved his students and they want all the charges dropped, calling the incident just a tragic accident. A woman was arrested after opening fire on the Los Angeles home of Rihanna Sunday while the singer was inside. Officers say 35-year-old Ivana Ortiz claimed the pop megastar was stealing from her, was jealous of her, and was a witch with a devil's face in a series of clips on her YouTube channel. She was arrested. Ortiz allegedly fired an AR 15 style rifle, and at least 4 rounds struck parts of the property. Nobody was hurt. The LAPD is now investigating. It is 10 minutes past the hour. A woman known for feeding the homeless each week in LA's MacArthur Park was savagely attacked with a metal pipe while serving meals, leaving her with a shattered jaw and 6 teeth knocked out. A GoFundMe page was set up for Eva Wood's medical expenses. A friend says the violent attack happened Sunday in the park 2 weeks ago. The suspect approached Woods from behind and struck her in the face with a metal pipe. Woods was rushed to the hospital where she underwent surgery. Doctors said both her upper and lower jaw were badly broken. She will need dental implants to replace the 6 teeth she lost in the attack. A new study found that using multiple AI tools at work can lead to mental fatigue called AI brain fry. Sounds fake, but it's real. Researchers surveyed about 1,500 workers, and 1 in 7 reported feeling burned out from AI tasks. Workers supervising several AI systems at once reported more mistakes and decision fatigue. However, when AI is used to handle menial or repetitive tasks, it can actually reduce stress. So the key here is if you use one AI to handle little things over and over again, like writing certain letters to people that are kind of the same letter with just a different dear whatever in there or whatever. If you let AI do that, it helps you reduce stress. But when you have to manage multiple AI systems at once, it causes you to take on the stress. So I guess the moral of the story, AI is good in small doses when you're in control. Coming up on 13 minutes past the hour, when we return, an unusual piece of technology is now playing a role in a high-profile missing persons investigation. We will explain. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full forecast, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, now live on the East Coast and the West Coast. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for Tuesday, live in New Jersey and New York. And now we welcome Southern California, Los Angeles, and San Diego. At 15 minutes past the hour, we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So we're looking for really warm conditions today, but don't get used to it in the Northeast at
I
least.
know, I know. It's going to be lovely. Saw so many people enjoying all the warmth yesterday, but then we're going to be back to the parkas by Thursday and Friday with the 30s and wind on the way before the week is through. You can already see the signs of spring, at least on the radar picture, with some of these severe storms working in through the southeast, another round of wet weather through the desert southwest. So things are changing. The seasons are moving along here on the weather maps, especially here in the northeast, showing with our next round of storms that comes in later on tomorrow afternoon, we could see some nasty weather down the shore over through the Atlantic and Cape May counties. You see those storms marching their way eastward tomorrow afternoon. That's the beginning of a cold front, which provides a big cool down. You can see the front off to the west. Once that crosses throughout Thursday morning, temperatures drop like a stone, like you were saying yesterday, Ken, down into the feeling like the 20s and 30s overnight. So Friday morning, excuse me, stays rather chilly, and it gets colder going into the next several days, especially into this weekend. All of this is due to that cold front, which is creating some storms out in the Midwest. Some of them could be strong to severe as those push east. So over the next few days, plan on that wetter, cooler trend beginning as soon as tomorrow afternoon, but really taking hold throughout the day on Thursday. One of the computer models is even hinting at the possibility of some snow by Thursday evening. I wouldn't go that far, but it just shows you how cold it gets going into early Friday morning. Then Friday afternoon, we have those spotty showers into the weekend. Saturday, a bit cloudy. Sunday, see some clearing, but then Monday, we get another round of wet weather that lasts into early next week. Head out west, and it's rather dry, continued dry weather, with those Santa Ana winds providing some very warm and dry conditions out there towards Southern California as some significant snows take over up there in the mountains in Washington State. We'll take another check of your forecast coming up, Ken, in the next few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. We're starting to get a lot of traffic, and I think a lot of that is because of some dampness on the roadways from like the fog in some areas more than anything else. It's not like we had rain or anything. But let's take a look at the Garden State Parkway right now, shall we? This is a crash. Garden State northbound exiting at exit 142A, which is I-78, and that is in Hillside Township. A lane is blocked, and you could see what that's causing there. They have emergency vehicles on the scene, but that's going to cause a bit of a delay. Again, by exit 142A, Garden State Parkway near I-78. And there is a fog and speed advisory on the Garden State Parkway, basically from exit 58 all the way down to Cape May. So it's the lower part of New Jersey, down in the shore area, down the shore, if you will. And that is all due to fog. That's due to the temperature differences. Mike has talked about this. The ocean temperature is cold, the air temperature is hot. And what's happening is you have the air mixing and you get fog. So we have a lot of it, especially in lower New Jersey right now. So there's a speed restriction on the Garden State, the southern third of the Garden State Parkway, down to 35 miles an hour. Disabled vehicle now on the New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension westbound by interchange 14A. Pam, of course, with her eagle eyes, got that, causing just minor delays. And this is westbound again at exit 14 or interchange 14A, which is the Bayonne Bridge interchange in Bayonne. The left lane is blocked through there, so take it easy as you head through. We have an overturned tractor trailer. We're trying to find your camera shot of this one, but this is a big one. This is on I-78 westbound at exit 29, which is by 287. That's in Bedminster. All lanes closed. So right now, overturned tractor trailer forcing the closure of all lanes on I-78 westbound at exit 29. That's in Bedminster. All lanes are closed. We have a disabled vehicle, Route 55 northbound at Route 42 in Deptford. The right lane is closed. And on the turnpike, something else. A crash on an overturned tractor trailer. This is down at interchange 12 by the entrance ramps from Industrial Way in Carteret. All lanes and the right shoulder closed. So an absolute mess. And there's even a delay now. They're saying on Route 3. Eastbound from west of Harmon Cove and Secaucus or Secaucus, depending on where you're from, to US 1 and 9 North Bergen. All lanes open, just very heavy. So as you make your way toward the city, well, actually it's westbound, it's from the city to that area. It's very, very heavy. Look at the Hudson River crossings. Lincoln and Holland are both now 30 minutes. GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 approach, uppers on the right, lower on the left, both pretty slow, 35 to 40 minutes reported in. Over to the West Coast very quickly, we have a traffic report hit and run with injuries reported. This is in South LA at the 110 and Imperial Drive by the off ramp, and in Altadena we have a hit and run, no injuries though, on Fairway Avenue. There's also a report of road conditions, so it's like related to weather, and this is in Altadena by Media. It says Media LAR, so that must be a well-known building area there. So just beware of that. Usually it doesn't rain in Southern California, and apparently they had a little bit of rain, so that causes those issues. 20 minutes past the hour right now, an unusual piece of technology now playing a role in high-profile missing persons investigations. Authorities searching for Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, are using a device known as a signal sniffer. That technology can detect signals from nearby electronic devices, including medical devices like a pacemaker, and can potentially help investigators narrow down a location. Experts say modern devices often use low-power wireless technology, which may leave a digital trail investigators can follow. Excuse me, as I have an itch on my nose. Ann Lipschitz is a global technology expert and attorney. And I was trying desperately with my head down to keep from sneezing, and I felt it coming on, so I had to do that. Forgive me. Good morning to you, and thanks for coming on, Ann.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me.
So this is fascinating technology, a signal sniffer. When you consider the thousands of signals, cell phones, two-way radios, etc., TV and radio broadcast, how does something like this from the air potentially find something like a pacemaker on the ground?
Yes, well, this case naturally has caught a lot of people's attention. And as a result of that, a lot of people are paying attention to the technology used. Especially this weekend, there were questions related to the potential use of Wi-Fi jammers. And we can talk about that in a bit. But one of the things that really caught a lot of the public attention was the use of a signal sniffer to try to detect her pacemaker. The thought of a helicopter flying around and trying to communicate with somebody's pacemaker is not something you see every day. But the physics is there, and it's quite fundamental. Now, the systems engineering is complex, but the fundamental physics of the signal sniffer, there's essentially four parts. There's an antenna, an amplifier, a receiver, and a decoder. And these things together can detect a Bluetooth signal. So the antenna used in this particular instance is going to be a very high power focused antenna that's going to be essentially listening and trying to receive the signal that's being transmitted from the pacemaker. And once it's received, once it finds signals, the LNA, the low noise amplifier, amplifies that signal. Now what happens is there's information coded into electromagnetic waves. So the RF signal, once it's inside the low noise amplifier, once it's inside the signal sniffer, then it's essentially decoded. All the information is pulled from it. And there is information in these waves that travel through the air, and it would have information that would have a MAC address that would identify this particular pacemaker. And the last part is it's decoding, and that decoding translates this from ones and zeros into human readable information. So I don't want to oversimplify the engineering that put this together, but you essentially have the capability, because modern pacemakers, many of them are equipped with Bluetooth. You do have the ability, if you can isolate that signal, to know that you're communicating with that pacemaker. Now, let me throw out one
and if I may, just because we're almost out of time, and I just got to get in a question. So, so we know that because it's digital, we know it's that specific pacemaker. And of course, when you get that pacemaker installed, the doctor registers the code. So it's just like a cell phone puts out its own unique imprint. That pacemaker is putting out its own unique imprint, correct?
Yes, that is correct. It can identify that particular RF signal.
That's fascinating. So, and
Yes.
how far away does is it 1,000 feet, 5,000 feet? How far away does this transmit?
So that's where the that's where the innovation comes in, and the systems engineering come in, configuring it so that it can reach so that it can reach significantly further than the Bluetooth alone can reach. So typically the Bluetooth, the signal coming out of the Bluetooth about 30 feet, but with the high power antenna, they're able to listen hundreds of feet, and the more powerful the antenna, the greater the range.
That's fascinating. I had no idea. And of course, for people who are wondering why do you need that? It's so that you could be transmitting your information to your cardiologist, right, via your phone or whatever at all times. Only because if you've ever had a heart monitor, the newer heart monitors do that. I have a fib, so I do this all the time. They put a monitor, a Holter monitor, but the new version, and it transmits to your cardiologist, so they can monitor you in real time for weeks, and you don't even realize it. You're just walking around. So investigators say that the pacemaker disconnected from the phone app about 2:28 in the morning. That's at her home. But that doesn't mean it wasn't still transmitting. It just suggests what? That they were out of the house and away from connection to that phone, correct?
Yes, and you hit a really good point there, and that also relates to a potential limitation of the signal sniffer. So the two big manufacturers of pacemakers are Medtronic and Abbott, and obviously we don't know the type of pacemaker that she had. That's obviously private information that's not going to be released at this point. But different pacemakers have different limitations, and most of these they only check in once a day. It's like a seek, it's like a signal, it's like a handshake. And what happens is the pacemaker's Bluetooth, it comes on, the antenna sends a signal to connect with the app, to send the information, just to check that the person's still there. So that's both a telling piece of information and a challenge for the signal sniffer, because if the signal sniffer is looking for that one transmission, it has to happen in that time frame when it's actually when the Bluetooth is transmitting when the pacemaker is transmitting to the app. And as you properly observed, we do know that at some point the phone tried to check in with the pacemaker after 2 a.m, and it wasn't able to get a read.
This is fascinating. We could do show upon show, and I love the fact that you're so up on this. Obviously, you need it for your clients. Brilliant stuff. We have to have you back to talk more about this. What's a website for more information that you have there, Ann?
Oh, well, so lots of, this is obviously being covered in the news. So right now there's such limited information on what's being shared out there. There's not any one news site that's tracking technology specific to this case. So tracking the major news, and, happy to come back here and share updates with your viewers here.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just meant, like, do you have an attorney website you wanted to share? And if not, that's okay. I just
sure.
want to say you put it out there if you'd like.
Oh yeah, sure. People are welcome to follow me on Ann Lieb at Ann Lieb, and happy to keep decoding some of the mysteries of the technology used.
I love it. Please come back. This is fascinating stuff. Global technology
Sure.
expert, attorney Ann Liebschutz. Thank you for coming on this morning. This is just,
Yes, thank
I
you.
mean, nobody else is talking about it, and except little blurbs, and we're all wondering, what are they talking about? Signal sniffers. Thank you for breaking it down. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Absolutely happy to break down more. This weekend was a big news on more technology issues.
Awesome. Yes, there were a lot. We need you back. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
728. I love the fact that you could put it all together like that. Fascinating research. It is 728 right now, East Coast, 428 West. And when we come back, a New Jersey organization focused on empowering women and strengthening communities is bringing an important conversation to the forefront. We'll explain. We're coming right back. morning, 30 minutes past the hour, Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and the West Coast. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
So, Mike, are there any weather situations right now in Southern California? Did we get another spritz or fog by any chance? Because I'm seeing just a
Uh,
few indications.
Oh, well, right now, warm and dry, but there's always the possibility of fog, especially along the coast. When you have that cooler air, usually the high pressure allows for that fog to develop, and that's typically the case with those winds coming in right now from the south and east there in Southern California. We'll take a bigger view across the country, and there are some areas where there are some storms, especially down in the southeast. The Atlanta area has some storms, and some storms developing right now across most of Texas as that system works its way through. Oh, speaking of, we also have the next round of weather because the seasons are changing. Pollen is coming back to the northeast. The tree pollen starting to spike due to the warmer weather, the longer daylight hours. So yes, all of this coming through. Now, there will likely get a little bit of a relief from that pollen with the rinsing rains that take over beginning tomorrow evening and especially lasting throughout the day on Thursday, followed by that cooler weather. It's this upper level system that allows for some wet weather to take over through most of the Midwest, moves into New Jersey by tomorrow afternoon into the evening and sticks around. So before we get there, though, have to enjoy the quiet weather, the beautiful conditions that will endure for the next day with highs that will be well above average. We'll take it because there's some cooler weather on the way. And again, down towards Southern California, have a little bit of that fog, likely with some rain. We'll talk more about that coming up with another check of your forecast and follow that storm across the country.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. We got a whole bunch of traffic to report. That's why we took a little moment to come back here and get collected. We appreciate you, sir. We'll check back. In terms of temperatures, 39 degrees now in northern New Jersey, 43 in Trenton. So it's funny because we must have a little wind off the ocean or something that's cooled things down just a few. Usually it's just the opposite. We usually get colder temperatures in Trenton. On the West Coast, 55 in Los Angeles, 56 in San Diego. All right, let's hit the traffic. Let's start out if we can. Pam, did you want to start on I-80? Is that where we're starting? All right, let's start with this 287. Let's do this. So we have a mess right now. This is 287 at 78. This is an overturned tractor trailer being uprighted. You can see they have the heavy tow equipment. Look at the tractor trailer, the lower left on its side. So they have the heavy tow that has to first close the road, flip the tractor trailer upright, then tow it. So that's going to take a while. So again, this is on I-78 at 287. This is by the ramp, and that's causing big delays, big backups right now on I-78. Ken, where do you say that is? All right, so that is on, of course, my page just refreshed as I'm trying to talk to you about it. That is I-78 287, which only intersects at one spot. And that is in Bedminster Township. So all lanes are going to be closed in just a moment on that. Just beware. They may be closed for about 15 minutes till they get upright that tractor trailer. Just an absolute mess. We have more issues to tell you about. On I-80 right now, there's a debris spill westbound east of exit 30, Howard Boulevard, Roxbury Township. Right lane of 3 lanes and the right shoulder closed there. We have another issue. There you go. Look at the mess that's causing. That's on I-80. Another I-80 issue eastbound, east of exit 35, Mount Hope Ave and Rockaway. 2 left lanes of the 4 lanes closed there. So a lot of problems there. And I think in a lot of cases, you have the bright sunshine causing glare in people's eyes. So you either have rain making it slippery or the bright sunshine blinding people. This is where the sinkhole was for months and months, by the way, right through there. So we will say the roadway looks lovely, except it's bumper to bumper. We have an advisory on the Garden State Parkway if you are below exit 58. So that's a lower third of the state. From Cape May to 58, there is a speed advisory, and that's due to fog in both directions. And that is, so actually this is all the way at Cape May, which is the terminus. That's where the highway ends up to exit 58. You can only go 35 miles an hour due to fog in that area. So please heed that. Police will stop you if you don't obey that. Disabled vehicle, New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension, westbound, interchange 14A by the Bayonne Bridge in Bayonne. All lanes open, but there is a vehicle now on the right shoulder. That's causing some brake checking. Another issue on the Garden State. There's a crash northbound exiting at exit 142A, I-78 East at Hillside with a lane blocked and an overturned tractor trailer now. That's actually just been cleared. Excuse me. We have a disabled vehicle, Route 55 northbound at 42 in Deptford with a right lane closed. It's just a lot of issues. I haven't seen this many accidents on a roadway since we had the snowstorm. Just be aware of that. The GWB right now, upper and lower levels, both very heavy, about 40 minutes to 45 minutes in. You can see the upper level on the right, lower on the left, barely moving. Lincoln and Holland are both reporting 30 minutes apiece. Just a quick update on the West Coast. Hit and run with injuries reported in South LA at the 110 by Imperial Highway off ramp. Hit and run, no injuries reported on Fairway Avenue in Altadena, and a closure of a road that's in Altadena at the 5 and Alameda Avenue on ramp. A New Jersey organization focusing on empowering women and strengthening communities is bringing an important conversation to the forefront. Impact 100 Garden State is hosting a Women in Government panel on March 19th, which fittingly happens to be Women in Public Office Day in New Jersey. It'll be held at the Frelinghuysen Arboretum in Morristown, and the panel is designed to highlight women in leadership. Celeste Campos is with Impact 100 Garden State, and Brenda Liberti is the owner of Beely Blooms and a sponsor of the event. Ladies, thank you for your patience through that tome of traffic that we had. We appreciate you both coming on this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you
Good
for having us.
morning.
You bet. Celeste, let's start with you if we could. Tell us about the Women in Government panel. What inspired Impact 100 Garden State to create the event?
So we felt we wanted to do something special for Women's History Month, and we looked around our organization and realized how many women within our organization were actually serving in government positions. And we thought if we can find a star moderator that can frame this conversation, we would have an exciting event for our members. So I pitched the idea to Lisa Marie Falbo, and she agreed wholeheartedly to moderate the event. And we have 4 women on our panel who are all serving either in state assembly or are mayors or former mayors. And we thought women can lead the charge by sharing the conversation about their path to leadership, how they handle themselves within leadership and all the challenges, and can really speak out and make change. And we feel in this environment to have women out there at the forefront engaging in this conversation would be very powerful for our women.
And this is designed to be nonpartisan, right? It's focused on leadership, not one political point of view. So why was it so important to approach the topic from that perspective?
The reason is our organization, we are a nonprofit, we are nonpartisan. So we wanted to make sure that everyone felt welcome, all voices were heard. And there is so much that women can talk about to stay away from policy and politics, just to talk about their service, how they make change, how they improve the lives of the people within their communities, that we could have a conversation and not be concerned at all about even having to go near the political discussion.
I want to know what you're feeding your doggies, because they
That's not my dog.
Oh, is that Brenda? That's Brenda. It's all good. We've had everything on this show. It's all good. I used to have 2 dogs. I used to walk onto my set. I love it. So Brenda, let's talk to you. It's all good. It's a family show. Brenda, you and your family have been strong supporters of Impact 100 Garden State. So what motivated you initially to get involved and support this mission?
Yes, well, I am always happy to support Celeste Campos. And when she approached me, I said, absolutely sign me up. We have known each other for over 15 years. And from PTOs to booster clubs to organizations, then after, when the kids graduate school, we would get together. And when she brought to me the Impact 100 Garden State, I was like, this sounds wonderful. I loved it. It's my 3rd year and happy to support it.
That's awesome. I can remember when I was at Channel 7 doing a story years ago Women, according to new statistics, own 1 in 5 businesses in this country. Well, now women own 1 in 2 businesses in this country. Talk
Wow.
about, oh, it's just awesome. So your business, Beely Blooms, is a woman-owned company, obviously. How important is it for you as an entrepreneur to support initiatives that empower women and get women into owning their own business and running their own show in the community?
Well, this my business started during COVID, but it's so funny. At the library, actually, I do something called Flower Hour, which I have trademarked, and I go out and teach about it and put together libraries, especially. It's usually women that come out and come workshops, and they just love to get together and do something hands-on over a shared experience. And when you hear the stories about these women, of just like their lives or something funny that happened that day, and then you see them again the following year at the same library, it's just nice to touch base. Like, everyone just has a feeling of being welcome, and there's no judgment. And it however I can inspire someone, then that's just tremendous.
That's awesome. And Celeste, Impact 100 Garden State is built around the idea that women who work together can make meaningful change. So, how does that idea reflect the mission at this event, for instance, specifically?
Well, we think that we like to say all the time that we are a women-run organization, and women, we just get things done. And to show our power when we work together, women supporting other women is so important. It's how I try and lead the organization. And by bringing this conversation forward, we can show all of our women that together we can be very powerful within our communities, and the power of doing good collectively. And that just makes me proud that we can actually bring this program forward and do it in a way that is nonpartisan and a safe space to have the conversation.
I believe that women invented multitasking. Look
Yeah.
at right, any mom, whether you're a mom or not, but any mom. I look at my mother, who used to help my father run the company, at the same time taking care of 2 kids, at the same time running a house, at the same time she could like fix a car. My mother could do, and she's still alive, 87 and a half years old, God bless her, and she doesn't stop. She's still driving. So to all women, God bless you and thank you for dealing with us, the dopey men of the world. What is a website for more information so people can get to this?
Sure, it's impact100gardenstate.org, and you can sign up, or you can choose to join our organization beyond the Women in Government panel and become a part of the collective good right here in New Jersey.
I love everything you're doing. This is fantastic. And Lisa Marie Falbo, who is a partner, owner of this channel, who is going to be emceeing it, is amazing. Just a wonderful lady, as I know you know.
Yes.
Impact100gardenstate.org. Impact100gardenstate.org. I hope you pack. And it's going to be Impact 100 Garden State's Women in Government panel, March 19th, starting 11 a.m. at the Frelinghuysen Arboretum in Morristown. I always have trouble pronouncing Frelinghuysen Arboretum in Morristown. Celeste Campos with Impact 100 Garden State, and Brenda Liberti, owner of Beely Blooms, love that name, and a sponsor of the event. Thank you both for coming on this morning. Have a
Thanks,
great
Ken.
event. You bet.
Thank you, Ken,
Great day.
very much.
Thank you. And when we come back, a holistic approach to veterinary care. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato at 45 minutes past the hour. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast for your city.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
So, Mike, Pam and I were doing some math, which is really dangerous because the two of us together, like 1 and 1, we're still working on that. But we just did a little saying, "Hey, now I could do math." We did a little math. We figured it's like over 1,200 interviews we've done on this show since the show
Wow.
began, and we haven't even
Look
been
at
on
that.
that long.
That's
1,200
wild.
people we've interviewed.
A
Crazy
lot of
sauce.
interviews. A
But
lot of interviews.
how many forecasts have you done on this program in that same period?
Forecasts.
Probably about 20,000.
Well, probably at least the same, right? One interview per forecast or equal amount. So yeah,
You do 2
lots of.
more. You do 8 forecasts a show. We only do 6 interviews.
Oh, there we go.
You got us
So, all
beat.
right, you figure out the math. I'll get to the forecast, and then by the time we'll crunch the numbers for you. It's tax season, right? You're kind of already in that mindset of working on some numbers. We have some beautiful numbers to share in terms of temperature. Lots of great warmth on the way here for New Jersey before some storms come in later on tonight, or actually tomorrow night into Thursday, with a big system that works its way across the country, providing some snows for the upper Midwest, and then with all of this rain taking over throughout the day on Thursday. Gets really wet around here. Likely see some storms as soon as tomorrow evening down across southern New Jersey. And then the cold returns. We've had this beautiful warm weather, shades of orange and yellow here on the map moving into New Jersey. Well, that doesn't last for long because another round of very cold weather with the shades of purple and pink return by the end of the week. And that is going to make for some very chilly weather as soon as Thursday. Down across southwestern parts of the country, Southern California looking beautiful, nice and clear and sunny for you. Had a little bit of that marine layer. You can kind of see it working inland due to that high pressure sitting over the cooler Pacific waters. And that's usually the case when you get that little bit of a fog and mist, especially along the coast each morning. Well, that gives way to mostly sunny skies with another dry period ahead going into Thursday and Friday. And it will stay that way even through Saturday. So lots of warm weather ahead going into the desert Southwest. Most of the east, however, starts to see that cool down return. And with that chilly weather across all of the Northeast going into this weekend, it starts to feel a little bit cooler than average, especially with that front doing its job, providing the rains later on tomorrow, and then with the colder weather that comes in after some storms arrive tomorrow evening. The front makes it rather chilly, but makes it feel more like March. We'll take another check of your forecast just for New Jersey, Ken. That's coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. And in terms of traffic, we have a lot going on. We should mention 39 degrees northern New Jersey, 43 degrees in Trenton, California right now, in Los Angeles, 55 degrees. I just want to show you something. Let's take we have a lot of traffic to tell you about. Let's take a look at the I-80 situation. This is a debris spill right now on I-80. It's at exit 30. What you're looking at is was this Route 35, Pam? Exit 35 by 80 and 15. So this is 5 miles away roughly. And look at this. So from 5 miles away, look at what the debris spill is causing. That's crazy. There's a lot of traffic. So this is I-80 right now. Debris spill to report westbound east of exit 30, Howard Boulevard, Roxbury Township. All lanes are closed, and that is causing this absolute mess. If you can avoid it like the plague, it's going to be that way for a while till they can get the debris spill taken care of and reopen that roadway fully. Just an absolute mess. Now, you can't tell in northern New Jersey, but southern and central New Jersey, there is a lot of fog to report. So right now, as a result, there is a fog and speed advisory on the Garden State Parkway, both directions from exit 36 all the way down to Cape May, which is the terminus. The good news is I'm sorry, they've now moved it. They've moved it. It's now from 36 to 69. So it used to go all the way down to the terminus. That has burned off. So now 36 to 69. So it's still the southern third, if you will, of the Garden State Parkway, and that's due to dense fog. We also have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike entering at interchange 11, Garden State Parkway in Woodbridge. There you go. You could see the fog there in that image, and that's as you're getting a little further north. We have a crash on 295 northbound, north of exit 65, which is Sloan Ave in Hamilton Township with the right shoulder closed. We don't have the camera here, but I'm going to show you look at the fog. excuse my dirty image there. You look at the fog. That you could see the traffic right there. That Okay, so that is just to give you an idea of what's going on in central and southern New Jersey. Dense fog and massive traffic jams. So if you're in that part of New Jersey, give yourselves extra travel time. We also have a disabled vehicle, Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension by 14A. There's a crash, another crash on I-80 entering at interchange 11, Garden State Parkway, Woodbridge. And then we have a crash also, or a disabled vehicle. This is on the Turnpike by by 14A. That's the same one. They're repeating. Let's go to the West Coast right now after we tell you about the GWB. That's a mess. 45 to 50 minutes in. You could take a look at that. I'm sure Pam will show you. Lincoln and Holland are going to cost you 40, and the GWB now 45 minutes in. Now to the West Coast. I know this is a lot of traffic, folks. Traffic collision reported, and it's only 4:52 in the morning there. Newhall. This is 15743 Sierra Highway. We have a hit and run with injuries at South LA on the 110 rather, West Imperial Highway off ramp, and a hit and run, no injuries on Fairway Avenue in Altadena. Don't know what's going on the East and West Coast, but we have a lot of traffic, more than we've had in a long time. It is 53 minutes past the hour. Dr. Alexia Sakiris, who is the founder of Naturopathic Veterinary Wellness Center in Red Bank, specializes in integrative and holistic veterinary care, and she joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Dr. Sakiris.
Good morning. I'm glad I'm not on the road today.
Ugh. I mean, literally, some days we have one or two incidents. Other days it just goes on and on and on, and there's no rhyme or reason. Because both in northern New Jersey, where you have sun glare, and in South Jersey, where you have fog, you have the same amount of accidents. So who knows? Just the moon, I guess. So even though the weather is warming up a little bit, we still have snow and ice around, and there's salt and whatnot on the ground for our pets to walk on. Not a good thing. What kinds of injuries or sorenesses are you seeing in pets right now?
Unfortunately, due to that large volume of snow that we had, which was hard to clear, we're seeing pets coming in with just, they're a little bit achy. They've pulled something. They had to walk over the ice. I was watching my dog walk and then fall through, and I was like, oh man. So we're dealing with these subtle injuries, which unfortunately, I'm sure some people have also been feeling due to trying to shovel out from all of this.
Yeah. And it's same for our pets, right? They have to deal with it too, but they have to go to the bathroom. So we take them outside and they have to deal with it. And a lot of pet owners may not realize how easily their pets can strain their backs, legs, or joints, especially, I'm assuming, in older pets, right?
Especially older pets. And I mean, if you just think about us, because I'll have people come in, they're like, I don't know how it happened, but I know myself, I can roll my ankle in 2 seconds or step off the curb slightly different and tweak things. So it's not to say that there's a massive injury. It's just there could be a little tweak leading to misalignment, and then it's leading to inflammation. Things aren't flowing well, and we just have to get things back into place a little bit.
So you're a holistic vet, and so you have treatments like acupuncture, laser therapy. How does that help for pets with stiffness and inflammation?
It really is so nice to get blood flowing to the area, because when you have a ton of inflammation, everything shuts down. The blood vessels get smaller, and so then it leads to this chronic inflammatory state. So acupuncture, laser helps to get blood flow to the area, stimulates healing factors, stimulates lovely things like nitric oxide release. So we're helping with pain as well. So the body can do its thing and heal in a more natural way. And listen, sometimes we need to add in herbs. Sometimes we need to add in NSAIDs. So, like a human equivalent of Advil. Please don't give your dogs Advil. But that sort of thing. And we just combine everything together to get them going and ready for spring.
So inflammation is a blessing and a curse, right? Inflammation protects our bodies immediately when we're injured to prevent further injury. But then when it lingers around, it kind of prevents healing because it kind of restricts blood flow. Do I have a kind of what's going on?
Exactly.
And then you feel the pain because it stretches out all the nerves.
Everything's inflamed, and you can't get the natural toxins that build up in the body. You can't get them out of there. And so then things just continue. It's a nasty cycle.
It is, right? But thankfully, we have some things we could use today that we didn't have. We have, do you use red light therapy too, by any chance?
So I have a lot of clients who use it at home because it's a nice at-home adjunct to
Right.
things, and you can use it every day.
Because I have one
So
for I have osteoarthritis. I swear by it. It definitely, it's to
right,
me, it's like the equivalent of taking a very mild NSAID. So it's not a cure, but I know when I don't use it and I know when I use it. I can tell the difference. So,
right,
and there are days like
exactly.
when I go out of town for a few days and I forget to bring it with me, I can feel it in my joints. So
Right,
it's a great
right.
adjunct, as you said. And if they're not, you
It
could afford
is.
them today. Just make sure you get a reputable one. So for pet owners at
That's
home,
the
what are
thing.
some other
Yeah.
simple things that they could do if the dog or cat seems a little sore after being out in the snow?
I mean, obviously, find a vet who does acupuncture and laser would be great, but at home, simple things like really gentle massage. You don't want to go digging in there, but just gentle
Mhm.
massage. We want to move the fascia around, get some blood flowing and circulation to the area. For some patients, a little bit of a warm heating pad can be nice. Things like simple things like chamomile tea. Tea actually is really anti-inflammatory for the stomach, but also the joints. And so, nothing more than, let's say, if you have like a little tiny dog, an eighth of a cup. If you have a big dog, you can do half cup, a whole cup throughout the day. But there's some simple things that we can do, a little turmeric on the food to just help boost some anti-inflammatory action for the body.
Natural stuff works best, always has. There's a reason why it's been
Good
around for
stuff.
thousands of years. What's your website for more
Thousands and
information,
thousands.
doctor? That's right.
Our website is naturopathicvet.com, naturopawthicvet.com.
I love it. And you're in Red Bank and easily
We are
accessible, I'm
in Red
sure, from
Bank.
the Garden State Parkway. Just today is
Although
this morning
maybe
is
not
to
today.
avoid the traffic. Right. Later in the day, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Dr.
later.
Alexia Sekiris, founder of the Naturopathic Veterinary Wellness Center, Red Bank. Always a pleasure to have you on. Have a great morning and a
Thank
great
you,
spring.
Ken. Yes, yes.
Thank
Hopefully,
you.
we won't have to talk about allergies.
Fingers crossed, you bet. Take care. And for those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. If you're watching on New Jersey, we'll be back live with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thanks for watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. Back in 2. Good morning, 8:01 on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Let's go to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check of the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Yeah, brought out some stuff in the backyard this morning, 44 degrees. So nice to be able to walk out and feel comfy. I
Yeah.
could walk out in shorts in this weather. I love it.
Yes, but then you head to the afternoon and the evening hours, and the temperature really starts to drop off quickly. The air is dry, and that's some differences, which makes the temperature so much cooler, like the 36 currently in Morristown. We were in the 70s yesterday, so big fluctuations from the morning to the afternoon. Not even a whole lot of a wind chill down the shore, where the temperature was a little bit cooler because the ocean temperature is still in the upper 30s throughout the afternoons, so much cooler by the shore. We're running a few degrees warmer than this time yesterday, and with the sun forecast with a light breeze, wind gusts less than 5 to 10 miles per hour, it's going to be beautiful again this afternoon. Look at those highs, up to 79 degrees in West Caldwell. That is almost comical of how warm it'll be. Down the shore, a little bit cooler again with some fog likely at the coast because you get that little bit of a breeze off of the very chilly Atlantic, and that makes it feel a lot cooler. So the futurecast today has highs warming into the 70s to the north, but you head down the shore and it's still quite chilly at the coast. 47 in Cape May, 44 in Atlantic City, but head back over inland, 71 in Camden, just it goes to show you how warm it will be. I think tomorrow morning starts with another warm up into the midday, but then as the rain comes down by the late afternoon, we see a sharp drop in temperatures, and that cold front really does its job, and with a northwesterly wind cools us into the 30s throughout the afternoon. So even Saturday morning, while it's dry, it's much, much cooler to start off the weekend. So we see those temperatures tumble each and every day. I know you see a few snowflakes in there. That is like just the colder air coming in quickly. And then with highs only in the 40s, mid 40s this weekend, it feels much cooler. We'll give you the details coming up with a full check of your forecast, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And we have a lot of traffic to tell you about. First, though, to let you know, 44 degrees northern New Jersey. It is 43 degrees in Trenton. As you can see, I guess the winds are shifting a little bit, so the temperatures are kind of the same. Also, the sun is coming up. That makes a difference. Just to tell you about all the traffic we have, let's go to I-80 first. What an absolute mess. So this is a debris spill on I-80 westbound east of exit 30, Howard Boulevard, and that's in Roxbury Township, closing all lanes. So look, I mean, the picture is 1,000 words, right? Take a look. So on the right side, they're going into the closure. The left side, this is all the people who I guess are rubbernecking because they're, oh no, it says all lanes closed. So they must have been released or coming, they came on, I guess, at the site where it was closed. So they are free to come after that point. But this is a mess. This is in Roxbury. And this has been going on for well over an hour. Again, this is a debris spill westbound east of exit 30, Howard Boulevard, Roxbury Township, all lanes closed. Just an absolute mess. Try to avoid that area if at all possible. We have a fog and speed advisory, Garden State Parkway, both directions from south of exit 36, Egg Harbor Township, to south of exit 69 in Ocean Township. Everybody has to go 35 miles an hour, both directions. That's due to dense fog. I mean, we're talking, you can't see 20 feet in front of you. And that's because we have a cooler ocean and warmer air. You get fog. So that's what's going on right now. There's a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike entering at interchange 11 Garden State Parkway Woodbridge with the toll lane blocked there right now. That's causing a big mess. Also on the Turnpike Hudson County extension, we have a disabled vehicle westbound at interchange 14A by the Bayonne Bridge. All lanes open. Vehicle on the right shoulder. Pardon me. And then over to 78. We have an overturned tractor trailer right now, and that is causing big problems. That's in 78. Westbound at exit 29, which is Bedminster, all lanes are closed. Let's look at what you got. So you could see the tractor trailer still on its side. You see the guy there on top trying to figure out the best way to rope it up and flip it over. When you have the heavy tow there, that means you're going to have to shut down that only lane that's going off. So that's going to be a mess. You're going to have backups for a couple of miles when that happens. So just be aware of that. Again, that's on I-78 Bedminster. by exit 29, tractor trailer flipped on its side. These are folks trying to get to 287, 206, 202. They're getting off at that exit there, or trying to at least. More to tell you about. We have delays on the New Jersey Turnpike Outer Roadway northbound from south of interchange 13A by Newark Airport. Right to 1 and 9 in Newark, about a 4-mile delay due to volume. On and on and on it goes. It is a bad traffic day. I don't know what's in the air. If it's the sun, in northern New Jersey, it's the sun glare. Southern New Jersey, it's the fog. Either way, it's a mess. We want to remind you, if you take NJ Transit, their service has been reduced up to this point by 50% starting next week. Don't know which day, but either the beginning or middle of the week, they're going to have the new portal bridge, the North Portal, will be open. Everything will be working on or close, so you'll have new schedules coming out next week. Beware of that. Let's take a look at the Hudson River crossings right now. The Holland and Lincoln are both reporting 35 minutes across on the GWB, upper and lower jammed right now. Look at this, upper on the right, lower on the left. It's going to cost you 40 to 45 minutes getting in. It is 8:07. New Jersey students, parents, and local leaders are sounding the alarm over school funding cuts. At a rally inside Jefferson Township High School, residents packed the bleachers to call on state lawmakers for what they say is long overdue financial relief. They warn that without additional Highlands Impact aid, the district could lose millions more in funding, putting sports, music programs, and other extracurricular activities at risk. On New Jersey's Mike Black has the story.
I'm Mayor Eric Wilsusan, and we need Highlands Impact Aid now.
Residents from Jefferson Township and the surrounding Highlands communities gathered at Jefferson Township High School for the Highlands Impact Aid Now rally. Jefferson Township Public Schools have lost millions in state aid and are projected to lose another $4.8 million this coming year.
Since 2019, we've cut over 100 staff positions. We have implemented a pay to participate for our students' clubs and athletics. We have closed 2 school districts, and we have reconfigured the district to move 4th and 5th graders into what was called the middle school.
Without the necessary funding, Jefferson Township schools will be forced to cut all extracurricular activities, including sports and music. Jefferson residents and parents of 3, Tom and Sarah Fasano, are co-founders of Highlands Impact Aid Now.
We were worried about our kids' future in these schools. We have 3 young children, and we were worried that opportunities were going to be taken away from them. So that's where we first got involved, and it's really just blossomed from there.
We got an idea together, we pushed it forward, and we have just had the most amazing support from our community, and it's been great.
Mayors from West Milford, Kinnelon, Vernon, and Ringwood showed their united support. Without Highlands Aid, their towns will face the same fate by next school year.
We're rallying together with other communities to basically tell Trenton, listen, we just want to be treated fairly with school funding and with Highlands Impact Aid.
Between the S2 funding that's been a failure for the past 7 years and the Highlands Act for the past 20 years that we've received no aid. And it's in the legislature, it's in all the paperwork that says the towns are supposed to be receiving aid, and we received nothing.
Many Jefferson alumni have gone to enjoy amazing careers thanks to their education, including their extracurricular activities they had in school.
My entire high school career was based in sports, and I can't imagine what it would feel like to lose that. Can't imagine what my life would have been like if I lost that. And so it was really important for me to speak out, use my social media, and be here today to speak to everyone in town that I'm with them, I'm supportive, and I will do anything I can to save the school.
Teachers and students are very concerned about the potential cuts in the Highlands.
To see that another district can put a parking garage in and our students are going to be suffering really, really is very upsetting to me.
It would be absolutely detrimental to my high school experience. The school would not look the same without any of that. It's the reason that we all get up and go to school in the morning.
As much as this has impacted me as a student, and the fact that it's shaped me as an individual and given me access to so many resources and friendships, some students that are younger than me might not even have the chance to experience that level of change, and that's just really devastating to think about.
If this is what made me who I am now, and without it I would probably still be really quiet, really no friends or anything like that. So it's a great community to have, and for it to be taken away is devastating.
The Highlands Impact Aid Rally is also giving Jefferson students hope for the future.
Well, I'm very proud of our community for rallying together, and I'm proud of the Superintendent Jean Howe and our mayor and our assemblywomen and our legislators, and I think they're doing a tremendous job, and I do have hope that they will be able to fight for us and get us some aid.
Jefferson, along with their neighboring Highlands towns, say they truly hope for equal opportunities for all New Jersey students.
I have to ask our state leaders in Trenton, why should a child's future depend on their zip code? We're not asking for a handout. Today we're asking for fairness. And we're asking for impact aid now.
I'm Mike Black on New Jersey.
Very important story, and it's impacting so many school districts throughout New Jersey, but especially in the Highlands water districts. That just impacts people financially in a big, big, big way. So stay on top of this story. We will. It is 8:12 right now, and President Trump held a news conference yesterday saying that the biggest part of the attack on Iran is completed. He said that we could leave now and they would take decades to get back to where they were or complete the job, ensuring a friendly leadership takes charge. Trump decided on the latter, still feels that can be accomplished relatively quickly. Meanwhile, U.S. intelligence intercepted encrypted communications believed to be from Iran that may be intended to activate so-called sleeper cells operating outside the country, according to a federal alert sent to law enforcement agencies. The message appeared shortly after Ali Khamenei, Iran's longtime supreme leader, was killed in a U.S.-Israeli strike on February 28th, raising concerns about possible retaliation. Officials say the coded transmission may have been broadcast throughout several countries to reach covert operatives, though authorities say there's no confirmed threat tied to a specific location. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has identified the 7th U.S. service member killed in combat during the Iran war as 26-year-old Army Staff Sergeant Benjamin N. Pennington of Glendale, Kentucky. 8:13 now. A New Jersey Assembly Committee has advanced a bill to help strengthen anti-vaping education in schools. A bill would require the State Department of Health and other agencies to create guidelines for anti-vaping awareness campaigns on campuses. The idea is to give schools research-based strategies that would better explain the health risks of vaping. Schools would then run age-appropriate campaigns and teach decision-making skills to resist peer pressure. It is 41 degrees now. 8:13 is our time. When we come back, a group of students is working to bring comfort, creativity, and connection to young hospital patients through art and music. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be back in 2. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:16. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, so enjoy all the warmth you can. Bottle it up like a firefly, and then you let it out later in the day. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We get another warm start to the day tomorrow, but it quickly goes downhill with rain and cooler weather arriving by tomorrow afternoon. Look at the visibility with the little bit of a breeze out of the south and east, promoting lots of fog down the shore. 0 mile visibility. All these areas shaded in red with that sea mist developing across southern New Jersey right now. You can almost begin to see it on the satellite picture, but with the warmer weather forecast for the rest of the state, you head further north away from the cooler coastal influence, and you are well into the 70s today. You can thank that southerly breeze for that, which will pump in that warm weather throughout this afternoon into tomorrow. That comes to an abrupt end the day after tomorrow with that northwesterly wind that brings back some very chilly weather and will send our wind chills down into the 30s going into Tuesday, rather later on in the week. So some very colder weather ahead, much colder weather ahead after we enjoy this last round of a warm-up. The futurecast shows it best with that lovely mild air moving in. We have the clouds that take over by tomorrow afternoon, with that some showers and storms later in the day. So it will be wet, I think, just after the lunch hour for most of New Jersey tomorrow. And then following that is the reality check, the cold weather that takes over into Friday and keeping it really chilly going into the weekend. Seasonably cool, though. This is the weather we'd expect, especially with temperatures starting in the 30s and climbing only into the 40s by the afternoon. And then beyond that, I think we have another chance of some rain by Monday. So it's cooler, cloudier this weekend, but I think dry for the most part. Our next round of rain after tomorrow will return by Monday. More on that on the 7-day coming up.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. It is 41 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 43 degrees in Trenton. A lot of traffic to tell you about. First off, we have a disabled truck on the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur northbound, just north of Southern Mixing Bowl in Newark. All lanes are open. That is just a mess, though, through there in terms of traffic. We have a crash now, Garden State Parkway southbound, exiting at 157, which is in Elmwood Park. And that's causing delays through there with all lanes still open. Crash investigation, Route 29, both directions at 175 and Ewing with all lanes closed. And then there's a fog and speed advisory on the Garden State Parkway down toward the southern part of the state. It is south of exit 36, which is by Route 40 in Egg Harbor Township, to north of exit 91, Chambers Bridge Road in Wall. 35-mile-an-hour speed restriction. So now this started all the way in Cape May earlier this morning, and they keep moving the restriction zone up and up. So it seems that the dense fog seems to be crawling north. It started way down south and north was sunny. Now it's crawling north. We'll talk to Mike in a little bit about that, but it looks like that might be where the winds are coming from, and that's as a result it's causing that. You have a crash on the Turnpike entering at interchange 11, Garden State Parkway, Woodbridge, one tow lane blocked. Debris spill on I-80 westbound east of exit 30. This is causing a 5-mile delay. This is starting at Howard Boulevard, Roxbury. All lanes are closed, and that's going to be there for a while. It's been around for about 45 minutes. And we have an overturned tractor trailer, 78 westbound at exit 29, which is Bedminster. All lanes are closed. That has been there also for about 40 to 45 minutes. GWB, upper and lower levels, rather heavy but moving. Going to cost you about 40 to 45 minutes in. I don't know if we have our GWB, Ken. There it is. Upper level on the right, lower level on the left. Lincoln and Holland both going to cost you 35 minutes in as well. It is 8:20 right now, and for children in the hospital, the experience of being in a hospital situation can be stressful, unfamiliar, sometimes even scary. But a group of students is working to bring comfort, creativity, and connection to young patients through art and music. Their initiative, Healing Hues and Harmonies, brings bedside creative activities to pediatric patients at University Hospital, helping children express themselves and find moments of joy during difficult times. It's a student-led program, and it highlights how creative arts can support emotional well-being and restore a sense of normalcy for children receiving medical care. Joining us this morning are Manasvi Mamila, Anirudh Koneru, and Advika Ventrapragada, the students behind Healing Hues and Harmonies. We say good morning to the three of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you on. Manasvi, let's start with you. Tell us about Healing Hues and Harmonies, how the idea for the program first came together.
Yeah, of course. So the program first started with some students in the year above us, and they were able to see on their pediatric rotations in the hospital how really isolating it was. So they decided to create this program. And what we do is we provide music and art services to pediatric patients in the hospital, really just creating these moments of joy and connection for them during these really isolating and, anxiety-inducing times for the kids.
And Anirudh, for kids who are hospitalized, of course, the experience can be overwhelming, especially when they're alone. They have all the noises, the machines, everything around them. And what kind of emotional challenges do young patients face? Are they just bored, just being stuck in there alone for hours and days?
Absolutely. And like you said, boredom is a big one, especially for the younger patients, but also discomfort. They are often have either like IVs or monitors. They are obviously experiencing whatever disease process that has brought them into the hospital. And so discomfort and pain may also be playing into that experience of being in the hospital as well. So kind of our project helps to mitigate those challenges that they're facing while they're in the
Mm,
hospital.
gotcha. And Advika, the program, of course, focuses on art and music at the bedside. So why are creative activities powerful for children in a hospital setting? Does it just help get their minds off of what's happening around them?
Yeah, I would definitely say it does help kind of distract a little bit, but also art and music can kind of cross like language barriers and like movement disorders that patients might have. So even if we don't speak the same language, I can play music for them and connect in that way, or we can draw together and also connect that way. So it kind of crosses that, and that way, no matter which patient it is, we can kind of connect with them in a really profound way.
I should ask, do the three of you want to get into medicine or art? What is more what your direction is?
So we're actually, all three of us are first year medical students at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School. Yeah, so that's kind of our career path, but we all love like creative arts and have found it to be a big part of our lives, and we wanted to be able to share that even through volunteering at the hospital.
Yeah.
I love it, and I pray to God that if I end up at your hospitals, that I get you three as somebody who takes care of me, because it's bedside manner is such an important thing. A doctor or a medical professional who comes and can communicate like you with empathy and care makes all the difference. Having been in a hospital setting myself, it's all the difference when you have a medical professional who's attentive and cares for the individual. So thank you for being who you are and what you're doing. So let's go back to Manasvi. What do these visits typically look like when you're working with pediatric patients? Do you surprise them? Do they know you're coming? What happens?
Yeah, so usually the patients never really know that we're coming. We go in a couple times a week, and really the session is kind of up to the patients, how they're feeling essentially. So we will like have a bunch of music and art activities for them to do. So for example, we have like coloring with markers and paint, and we have like music, little small little music instruments. So there's a lot of different things that we have, origami as well. And we kind of just leave it up to the patient to see what they want to do and go based off from there. So we've had patients before where some of the patients will be like super shy or timid to kind of get involved, but once they do and you see they start to have fun, so we just keep going with it and see how the session goes. Yeah.
I love it. And Anirudh, you've seen the program, of course, firsthand with families and patients. Do you have a specific story you could share that captures the impact that this is having?
Yeah, actually, there was one time that I went in for my volunteering shift, and there was, I think, an 8-year-old patient who was on a nebulizer, and she was in a lot of discomfort. The room was very loud from the machine, and she was crying. Her father was like holding her in his lap, and when I came in and offered like some activities to do, she instantly brightened up. She had something to do. She was engaged. She was using the markers, and I could see not only the impact on the young girl, but also on her parents who had been trying to console her for so long. So to have some kind of activity that could engage both the parents and the child, it was really impactful for me.
Well, I would imagine. And Advika, so how does giving the kids the chance to create art or experience music help restore sort of a sense of control or normalcy? Because as we just heard, that they get to choose what they do. So does that give them kind of that sense of control that they may not be feeling when they're in the hospital surrounded by people sticking needles in them and whatnot?
Yes, definitely. For example, I had a patient who only spoke Spanish, and I offered them like all the music and art options, and they just really wanted to listen to like their favorite music. So I had like a speaker, and I was able to just play whatever their favorite artist was. They were just missing like listening to music, and so I played it for them a little bit louder, and like they were able to sing together, the patient and the parents. And it was just like a great experience to see. So it kind of does, yeah, definitely brings them back to like some sense of normalcy and just like feeling like they're not in the hospital for a second. It's really nice. Yeah.
That's awesome. Manasvi, what has this experience meant for you personally as a student working directly with the patient, seeing the reaction on the faces of the patient and their parents?
Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. I think it really just reminds me how resilient kids are, even in these super like daunting and stressful hospital environments. The way they're able to just find joy in these small moments of art and music is really beautiful. And I think it's really important at the end of the day to just let kids be kids, right? So just giving them this opportunity to, enjoy themselves, relax, and return that sense of normalcy that we're talking about is really important.
So cool. Is there a website so people could get more information or help out Hues and Harmonies, Healing Hues and Harmonies?
We don't have a website at the moment, but we're planning to frequently into the hospital. Right now, we only go in a couple times a week, but it is a pilot program we just started. But we're planning to go in more frequently and expand the program in that way. Yeah.
We got to get you a website because we got to get you donations so we get more people like you who do this. You're amazing. I am grateful that you are there. Manasvi Mamila, Anirudh Koneru, and Advika Ventrapragada, medical students behind Healing Hues and Harmonies. If you are the future of medicine, we are in good shape. Thank you all for coming on this morning, and thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us.
You bet. Have a great day. Wow, we're in good shape with them. New Jersey proud. When we come back, hair restoration procedures becoming more popular than ever, but a black market of unlicensed clinics offering bargain procedures could lead to some serious medical complications. We're coming right back. Very good morning. It is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. We have 39 degrees northern New Jersey, 43 degrees in Trenton at 8:31. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Morning. Sunny and mild today, highs in the mid 70s, but it's going to go down fast. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has a detailed Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
So I guess the moral of the story, Mike, is don't get used to what you see this morning.
No, but you really have to reorganize your week around this weather just to make the most of some time outside. There's actually a meteorologist in Connecticut who fashioned this excuse note saying, please excuse so-and-so today and tomorrow just because how beautiful the weather is outside. This is weather you want to enjoy, especially with the cloud cover that's only in the southern part of the state with a little bit of mist and fog just showing up on the visible satellite right about there. You can just make out a few of those thin wisps, but beyond that, clear sky today and a real warm up ahead. With temperatures at the beaches much colder, likely only some 40s and 50s there. You head west of the Parkway and you're well into the upper 70s. Weather that is very mild and pleasant. There's also a healthy dose of tree pollen. You've probably noticed that over the last few days with the warmer weather. The trees actually respond to the longer daylight hours, so even though it cools down in the next few days, we'll still see that tree pollen a little bit higher. The rain that comes through should help rinse that out of the atmosphere. Today's high, making it up into the mid 70s. We should only be in the upper 40s. So a nice jump in temperatures, keeping it feeling rather pleasant throughout today. No rain today, but by tomorrow, we see our rain chances go, but it's really tomorrow afternoon into the evening, and then again by Thursday, some wet weather moves in. Dry to start off the weekend, and then those rain chances much higher by Monday. That's our next opportunity to see some very wet weather on the way. Until then, though, plan on the beautiful weather today. Clouds move in tonight. With that, a little bit of wet weather tomorrow afternoon. Some of those downpours will be likely across the southern part of the state. It turns wet tomorrow evening and then clears out for a dry but very cold, much colder Thursday, with temperatures by Thursday only reaching the 40s, and then another quick round of wet weather with a reinforcing shot of cold air into Saturday. Dry to start the weekend, and I think dry to finish, but it's later Sunday night we could see that wet weather move in advance of the rain by Monday. I know there's still a few snowflakes in here. Hard pressed, we'll see like accumulating snow. Might be a wet snowflake mixed in with that rain, but you can see how the temperatures drop into the 30s for Friday, staying dry for Saturday. Clouds on the way by Sunday, leading to that wet weather by Monday. So after the 70s today and tomorrow, look how the cooler ocean breezes keep the temperatures down the shore pretty steady in the 50s. We'll tell you more about that coming up with your next weather update, Ken, in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. It is now 8:34. We have a temperature of 39 degrees northern New Jersey, 43 degrees in Trenton. It is 41 degrees in Camden as you make your way toward Philadelphia, toward New York City, 44 degrees right now. And we look at traffic and we have a lot of it. Let's start at I-80. That debris spill from an hour ago still out there causing an absolute mess. Look at this traffic. Look at this absolute mess. Both directions impacted. This is I-80 westbound, east of exit 30 by Howard Boulevard in Roxbury Township. 2 right lanes of 3 lanes on the right shoulder closed. That is causing a 5-mile backup on I-80, an absolute mess. As you go to the southern part of the state, you have fog, and that's the big issue right now. The Garden State Parkway has fog impacting traffic in both directions from south of exit 36 to exit 91BA. So the fog is creeping up the state. It started all the way down at Cape May. That has now burned off and it's working its way up the state. So between exits 36 and 91, you have a 35-mile-an-hour speed restriction both directions. That's due to dense fog on the Garden State Parkway. We go to I-78, overturned tractor trailer westbound at exit 29. It's being uprighted right now. This is in Bedminster. Just an absolute mess all morning long, but you can see they just got it up, it looks like. That tractor trailer there, that was on its side much of the morning, and now they have to clear it and get that traffic moving again. But that's been just a nightmare for folks through there all morning long. We have problems now on the, there's a crash with injuries down in Atlantic City Brigantine Connector. That's northbound by Route 30 and Absecon Boulevard, Atlantic City. The left lane and shoulder are closed, so move over for emergency vehicles, and a disabled truck on the Turnpike Western Spur northbound, north of the Southern Mixing Bowl in Newark. All lanes open And that is going to be there for a little bit, though. They're going to be working on that for a bit because that disabled truck has been there for well over an hour. Your Hudson River crossings into Manhattan right now, Lincoln is 35 to 40, Holland is 25 to 30, GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 approach socked. Look at this. Right side is upper level, left side is lower, and we're talking either way, 45 to 60 minutes into Manhattan. Time is 8:36. Hair restoration procedures are becoming more popular than ever, but there's a black market of unlicensed clinics offering bargain procedures. Sounds like a bargain, but it could lead to some serious medical complications. Dr. Brett Bolton is the founder of Bolton Hair Restoration. He's a specialist in advanced follicular unit extraction, also known as FUE or FU. Welcome, Dr. Bolton. I know it's FUE, not FU, because I've done it. I didn't have hair implants, but I've done the PRP treatments. I know exactly where you are because I live half the time on Galt Ocean Mile, right down by you, by Lauderdale by the sea, Fort Lauderdale border. So I know exactly where your clinic is. And but this is much. It was much thinner. This is from 5 treatments of PRP. Got that back. So I'm a big proponent of what you do, but you need a professional to do it, right?
Absolutely. Thank you, by the way, for having me. Yes, definitely. What we're seeing right now has changed the industry. And you said I'm a follicular unit specialist, and I just have to make a little bit of a correction on that. I've been doing hair transplants now for about 30 years. And I've actually never done the follicular unit extraction procedure because, in my opinion, it's not the best method to get the donor. And when you talk about the black markets, what we're finding is the people that are offering the follicular unit extractions, a lot of times they're medical practices that aren't concentrated on hair transplants. So what they're doing is they're bringing in teams from across the country, and these are medical assistants not licensed in the state, and they're doing the follicular unit extractions. This is the method in which they're harvesting the donor. So they're individually poking the holes out of the back of the head to get the follicular units out. However, the people that are doing it in most cases are unlicensed and are not allowed to do it in the states that they're doing it in.
That's awful. And so that could leave scarring in the back of the head, right, where they're taking the units out. And then when they go to implant them, you could get infections. It'll leave that doll head look. Awful. So this is why you need a professional to do it. What methods do you usually use to help with hair restoration? Do you start conservatively and work your way up when you deal with folks?
Absolutely. The first thing we always do at my practice is the first thing we want to do is get the patient stabilized, meaning we want to make sure that their genetic hair loss is under control. And we can do that with 2 FDA approved preventative treatments. Those are, I'm sure you know the names, Rogaine and Propecia. Those are the brand name. The ingredients are minoxidil and finasteride. The method I use for extraction is the strip procedure, which is known in the industry as what's called an FUT, a follicular unit transplant. We learned from what you said, the doll's hair, the older style where they were doing the punch biopsy, better known as the plugs. Picture a pencil hollowed out with a razor blade, let's say, where they punched holes in the back of the head. They'd punch that bundle out, might have 15, 25 hairs back in those days, punch a hole out in the top, take that big chunk of hair and then plug it in. Well, they had to space it out so much to make sure it had enough blood supply, and then you'd have unnatural growth of grafts. They looked unusual because of the spacing. But then the technology advanced, and we started to do what are called one hair grafts, which is a one single hair at a time. And then we do, instead of those bigger plugs, we do something that's called a follicular unit. These are naturally occurring bundles of hair we all have in the back of our heads. They come in little groupings. You could have a 1 hair follicular unit. You could have a 2 hair follicular unit, 3, rarely a 4. So the industry went from those big grafts to now these smaller ones. Well, what happened was because this strip technology was getting so much hair, some of these older time doctors wanted to increase their revenue. So they came up with this follicular extraction method really to get more patients to have more surgeries. That's the bottom line. We already learned was a failed method to extract the donor because it caused more scar tissue, more problems with disrupting the blood supply, more problems with disrupting the nerve supply versus taking a linear strip. So what's happened is because it's being done by technicians, you can go overseas to, let's say, Turkey, where you can get it done extremely cheap. So it's very enticing for patients. They see on social media this influencer, oh, I went to Turkey. I picked up in a limo, put in this great hotel. I got this surgery. My question is who's doing your surgery? Who's extracting that donor? What recourse do you have in the event you do get an infection? What are you going to do when you're in Turkey? So this is what's happening in the industry, and it's widespread throughout the country, where non-physicians are performing medical procedures, which, as far as I'm aware, is against the law in mostly every state.
I mean, Doc, I've seen Dominican Republic, Mexico, I've seen Costa Rica, all these, not only hair, but other medical procedures, if you will. And again, do you want to be the guy on the plane with literally your scalp oozing with infection as you make your way in pain back to the United States, a few $1,000s poorer, and now you got to go to another doctor to hopefully repair the damage done there when you could do it right with a doctor you could go back to if you have a problem in an emergency. And for what it's worth, my procedure started with finasteride, which definitely helped. Rogaine didn't help for me. Finasteride worked great. Bosley or Nioxin, one of those shampoos to help minimize the stuff at the follicle level, and PRP. And for what it's worth, that's what worked for me. And I've been happy as a clam since, and it's stopped the hair loss on my hair as thick as could be. But I was going to go your next route if necessary, so I know who to call if I need. But definitely you want to talk to a good reputable doctor like this. And I know you do a lot of repair of the damage, but we're going to do a whole other show on that in the future. What's a website for people to contact you in case they need you, especially for repair, but if they just want a good doc who could take care of this correctly from the start?
Thank you very much. Dr. Brett Bolton at greathairtransplants.com.
Very good, Dr. Bolton. And by the way, I appreciate the fact that you look beautifully put together yourself. I've seen a lot of doctors who do what you do, and I look at their hair and I'm like, go to one of your friends and take care of it. You look perfect. So God bless you for that. Founder of Bolton Hair Restoration, Dr. Brett Bolton. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You bet, doctor. It is now 41 degrees northern New Jersey. When we come back, we will talk more topics here at On New Jersey Morning. Sunny and mild today, highs mid-70s. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:46. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Bottle up this morning's mild weather because it's not sticking around long.
I know. Can't wait to spend most of the day outside. We'll just shift the work week down one day, like make today the weekend day, right? And then going into this afternoon, really warm weather. We're also really wet. The ground is saturated from all of the rainfall, so little to no rainfall deficit, but there is some more wet weather on the way, at least for the rest of the month through March 20th, anticipating slightly above average rainfall. And then the temperature gets a little bit cooler, so enjoy the warmth today and tomorrow because it's right back to the freezer going into pretty much the rest of the month, save for the last week of March. There's big heat down in the desert southwest, well above average temperatures there. So as we look forward today to the warm weather, look at these highs. This is not March. This is late May. 78 over in Wayne, 76 in Newark, and 73 back by Newton. This little fling with late spring, early summer will only last a day because we're right back to the cooler weather by tomorrow afternoon. Yes, it'll be mild quickly in the morning, and then once the storms come in, it's all downhill from there. Much, much cooler into the weekend with some chances of rain, and then clouds take over for Sunday, high of only 56. Monday and Tuesday sees that cooler trend continue, but if you were looking for some really chilly weather, just head to the beach, because even though it's warm and sunny inland, it only makes it to the 50s today and tomorrow at the beaches. Rain returns on Thursday, and it stays chilly even into next week with windy, gusty conditions by Tuesday, 42 as the high, starting temperatures in the 20s. So we're not quite done with winter just yet. It's going to go out kicking and screaming, as it pretty much has been this whole winter, just been a long temper tantrum from nature.
All right. I'm quivering a little bit at some of those temperatures you just showed, but thank you very much, Mike. Go enjoy your day. Go bottle up the sunshine. We appreciate you, sir.
You too.
It is 41 degrees now in northern New Jersey. It is 43 degrees in Trenton, 42 degrees now in Cape May, 40 degrees in Vineland. In terms of traffic, we still have a lot of it. We have a disabled vehicle now on New Jersey Turnpike, northbound north of 46 in Ridgefield. Center lane is blocked. Let's go over, Pam. What did you want to do, 80? We have a debris spill still on I-80 westbound east of exit 30, Howard Boulevard, Roxbury Township. There's just starting to move now. Two right lanes and the right shoulder were closed, but it looks like they may have opened up another lane because there was no motion last time we checked, and now there's just a little bit of motion. This has been around about 80 minutes. It's been an absolute mess for folks who are trying to get to work. We have a crash on 295 northbound north of exit 67, and that has been going on for about 20 minutes now. We also have a disabled tractor trailer, New Jersey Turnpike, outer roadway south of interchange 14, 1 and 9 in Elizabeth, all lanes open, vehicle on the right shoulder. We have a lot of traffic getting into Manhattan today. On the Lincoln Tunnel approach, we're talking 40 minutes in right now. The Holland Tunnel is about 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower have been very heavy all morning, 80-95 approach. Take a look. Upper level on the right, that's going to cost you 35 to 40. And the lower level on the left is about 45 minutes in. 8:50 is our time. An historic milestone in New Jersey education took place last month as students inside East Jersey State Prison earned graduate-level certificates through Drew Theological School's Partnership for Religion and Education in Prisons, known as the PrEP program. This is the first time in New Jersey history that a graduate-level certification has been awarded entirely within a prison classroom. Dr. Robert Seisengood is the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, teaching professor of Bible and Cultures at Drew Theological School, to talk about how PrEP is transforming lives. Good morning to you, Dr. Seisengood.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I don't know if you're aware, I'm a former Catholic priest, so I'm a seminary grad. And when I saw the story, I was so thrilled that you're doing this. And I was just curious, are any of the students from the prison, were they undergrads? Did they need to be undergrads to take part in this, in the course?
No, we've had a bit of a transition. So we had started working with the program through an organization, New Jersey Scholarship for Transformative Education in Prisons, NJ STEP, which is, I think the home office is at Rutgers University campus. It's a consortium of Raritan Valley Community College, Rutgers, Princeton, and us now at Drew. And they've been offering everything from GED and high school degree completion through undergraduate credits through the various institutions as they would go through. Drew entered partnership with them, I think about 2015. We were initially teaching some undergraduate credit courses, and most of our students are through that pipeline that have come up through, some of them all the way through conceivably the high school program, so that they can go through completing a GED, all the way up to a bachelor's degree, all the way up now to a master's certificate, and now a Master of Arts degree, a full degree, while inside East Jersey. So a lot of the students are kind of pipelined through our own program and consortium work.
Transforming lives. If I may just jump in, Doctor, I'm sorry. This is the reform that we were talking about, that the prison was supposed to be, right? Yes, I know it's punishment. I know it's to keep people out of society for a time, but it's also supposed to be about reform. You're talking about transforming a life that would otherwise be thrown away into somebody who could come back into society and be fully participatory. This is awesome. When did this program first start? Because this, I don't know why isn't this everywhere right now?
Your last question actually is a really interesting and exciting one to me. Why is it not everywhere? And I think this is actually, we get a lot of marks for thinking about it in terms of religion as we're doing it as a social outreach. This is the rational response to the circumstances that we're in. An individual can't be held by the decisions that were permanent for the rest of their life as an action of an irrational moment when they were 18. Now, the students have to qualify. They have to meet rigorous standards for pre-selection and other activities and maintain behavior code to be able to be allowed to stay in the program. But this works. This has reduced, it's part of a network of programs put in by Governor Murphy and some others that have reduced recidivism to New Jersey from what was one of the highest states in the country to one of the lowest now. The incident rates are down all over the facility. It makes the rational response to the trauma and to the questions that we're asking them to think of when they're inside, to reconsider their role and their behavior and their responsibility to the broader community. And we're giving them an outlet. I say all the time that my job as academic dean is to find and educate brilliant students who will be transformative to the world as a result of it. It just happens that a dozen of them are inside East Jersey.
Amazing, amazing, and this is I'm sorry, but I just think about that dozen individuals, those individuals. Their lives could have gone entirely in that direction had this not been offered. And we're talking about 12 human beings whose lives are now transformed and who can go on to transform others. The impact that they will have if they come back and teach students who are also in the prison system afterward is just indescribable, the difference that it could make in society.
That's very much the goal for many of them, is to either work within. In fact, some of our students are already working as peer guides and counselors for students further behind them in the program. Many have broader interests in doing all kinds of work with transformative or reformative activities across New Jersey penal systems or government systems, or advising or being engaged in those directions as well. I do have to say, though, that the magnitude of this program has happened in large part because of some phenomenal partnerships that we've had through Rutgers, Dr. Chris Agins at Rutgers and NJ Stepp, through the state, which has been exceptionally helpful. Chief Sessions has been delightful to work with and very helpful for us to be able to move this program through, and committed to it all the way up and down. So the program is broad and is, I think, making strong differences.
How excited are many of the faculty members from Drew and the other universities about teaching these individuals?
You know, it's funny you asked that question. When we first explored taking this, we take our faculty and our students, 5 of our students, and they go inside East Jersey to study alongside our students that are inside. And the faculty, it's a commitment. It takes pretty much the entire day by the time someone has, just for an afternoon seminar, for a once a week seminar. The prep that goes into the course, the materials that have to be vetted, all of our students and faculty have to go through background clearances. It's not trivial in the amount of work that it takes. Mm-hmm. When our faculty voted to put this program in, my provost said, okay, there's a vote that says yes. And there's a lot of times somebody will say, yes, I want this to happen. I don't necessarily want to do it. At the time, I did a quick survey, and 3/4 of my current faculty at the theological school had either taught inside or had gone inside for orientation practices or other activities. And so they put the commitment into action, into space, into going inside, into making that effort work. They are very excited and very invested in this program. I routinely have faculty say these students are remarkable. The teaching moment that happens is remarkable. The students that we take inside, we often take students that are interested in chaplaincies or social justice reform will go inside and study alongside these students. And they routinely remark that it's one of the more transformative encounters they had through their graduate program.
Amazing. May this occur over and over and over again at prisons around the country and change the face of what it is to be reformed. We need to have you back on, Dr. Robert Good, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Teaching Professor of Bible and Cultures at Drew Theological School. Ivy Leaguer, thank you, sir, for coming on this morning. It was an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.
You bet. Amazing. Amazing. That's what it's about. Reform. 41 degrees right now, 8:57. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says sun today, but it's going to get cold tonight. Highs in the mid 70s, dropping like a stone. And that's on New Jersey Mornings for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. Remember, you can catch us again tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Have a great day.